So, welcome everybody, and let us welcome Rishi also, who's here on the podcast, the smart young fellow. So, we are going to today hear from Rishi his transformation story. From stuck to unstoppable, a young mind's transformation. So, I'm your host, Coach Pradnya, and today's episode is very special and deeply relatable, especially for young adults who feel stuck, confused, and overwhelmed in their life. So, we have with us Rishi. He's a bright and ambitious young mind, too. Like many, he found himself caught between expectations, doubts, and overwhelming thinking about his career. So, despite being an intelligent boy and capable to have that strength to move forward, he struggled with clarity, confidence, and direction. There was a phase where he felt that he was limited in a sphere. He had limited himself. There were no further choices that he could take in his life, where overthinking affected his focus and where he questioned his own potential. But what makes this story powerful is not his struggle, it is the transformation. So today we are going to hear from Rishi how and why and what tools he used to transform himself. So, with the help of life management coaching journey, what Rishi got and what Rishi has worked is he has started taking 100% responsibility. He has worked on breaking his limiting beliefs. He has found the clarity in purpose and he is overcoming the resistance. Also, most importantly, starting to take action towards his dreams. So, today, he joins us to share his real, honest, and inspiring journey from confusion to clarity, from doubt to direction. So, let's welcome Rishi on this podcast. Welcome, Rishi.
Yes. Thank you. Thanks a lot to Coach Pradnya for inviting me to our podcast. This being my first podcast is definitely a very special moment, and I hope I get to do a lot more podcasts. But the first podcast is always a very special moment because it's like the icebreaker. And thanks to you as well as my coach Tony, because this podcast is not just about sharing a journey. It's also very much a confidence building measure, right? Because uh,
Yes.
being featured in a podcast is like sharing a journey, speaking, and this will then again later be shared with a lot of people, and a lot of people will be listening to it. So, having an opportunity to be present in something like this, there can definitely be no better confidence building measure than this. And given how I have been struggling with confidence, I think this is probably one of the best opportunities that I could ever get. So, thank you to you as well as my coach, Coach Sony, for this opportunity.
Yes. Wonderful, Rishi. I'm so happy to see your cheerful face here. So, I want to tell the viewers and I want to tell everybody who's watching this podcast some information about Rishi. So, Rishi is born and brought up in Bahrain. He has studied finance, he's done his bachelor's, he's done his ACCA degree also, and he has worked as an intern in a startup. He's worked as a full time employee for 1.5 years in the same startup. He's worked in strategy function. So he comes with that experience of corporate also. But here is the main point, and here is uh, the flashy moment. I would say that Rishi has chosen that he wants to move into IT. He wants to do his further career, his further research, his further dreams. He wants to pursue in the IT technology field. And now, currently, Rishi is in Bahrain. He is basically leveling it up. He is doing a lot of research. He is using his skills to prepare himself to jump into the IT world with all the vigor and all the mechanisms that he's learned from my fellow coach Sony. So, Rishi, that was a brief introduction about you. And let us start with our first question now. So, can you tell me, Rishi, that what was the lowest point of your journey where you felt completely broken or lost? And what was going through your mind at that time?
Yes. Thanks for the question. So yes, just to expand on the story, previously my education was in finance and accountancy, and then I worked in strategy and business domain for about 1.5 years.
Yeah.
And once that got over, the feeling or my thinking and thought process was that my interest lies more towards the technical technology side of things, and I was especially getting a lot of interest in artificial intelligence, machine learning, and those kinds of domains. I was always interested in technology from a young age, but after studying finance and business so much and working, I felt that now is the right time to make a move, and I'm still very young and early in my career. And if I make a move now, then that would be very beneficial. And so, yeah, that is why I had quit my job and I came back, and I'm now with my parents, and I'm doing some self studies and a few courses online on my own. So that is a plan that I'll do the self studies, and I'll be able to get better opportunities and possibly do a career switch and career transition. So it is in this journey of me moving from, let's say, a commerce, business, finance kind of domain to a completely different domain, which is sort of uncharted, because post 10th grade, 11th and 12th, I obviously took the commerce stream, and then for 3 years, it was all accountancy, finance, business related education, and then my work experience was also related to that. So, in terms of science, uh, there was I have been disconnected with it for a fairly long period of time, and so when you're trying to get back to something like this, it is always very overwhelming at the start. You don't know where to start, and even when you start, understanding things and learning things will be a very steep challenge. It will be very overwhelming in nature. And apart from that, there's also this feeling that now I've obviously taken a career break to come and study. So uh, I'm obviously investing my time, and what if things don't work out? Then it'll probably be a complete waste of my time, right? So this whole feeling of feeling overwhelmed about going into a new domain, learning about a new domain, and whether things will work or not, uh, it was a very uncharted territory, and it was also risky in nature. So because of all this, I was obviously feeling very overwhelmed, and I was getting a lot of negative thoughts. I was overthinking a lot, and that was actually affecting me further, because as a result of that, I was not able to study, right? So it was like a
Yeah.
compounding effect. And if I was able
Right.
to study, then obviously my confidence will go up. But because there's no confidence, I'm not able to study, and then my confidence goes even lower. So how to break this cycle of being unconfident and not being able to focus, and moving that towards feeling optimistic and feeling confident and being able to study? I think that was where the major challenge was. And yes, the lowest point was about me feeling negative, me overthinking, feeling overwhelmed, being
Hmm.
uncertain about the future. All of these are typical problems associated with these kind of moves. So yes, that was where my greatest challenge and my lowest point.
Yeah, yeah. Fantastic, Rishi. It was so nice that you openly shared your challenges, and I like the open approach that you have and your the candid nature of sharing that you have. So I'm sure to the viewers, have you all come across such challenges? Have you all come across any such cases where you felt that you will not be able to move ahead. So we have an example in form of Rishi that yes, you all can do it. You can cross that mark. So Rishi, the second question for you. So what was the belief about yourself or your future that was holding you back the most? And how did that belief change during the course of your coaching journey? So what changed, Rishi? If you can share that with us.
Yes. I think I already briefly touched upon it, but
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
expand upon it. So the major problem was if I really needed to do a career transition and career switch, I really need to focus and hard work and put in a lot of effort to be because there's a lot that I need to learn and there's a steep curve that I need to climb to get to the other side, right? Otherwise, eh, whatever time that I'm investing, it's not going to be fruitful. But the
yeah,
biggest problem was because I was thinking negative and because I was overthinking, I was in this cycle of feeling unconfident, feeling negative, and because of that, I was not studying. And if I'm not studying, then again, you feel like, oh, you're wasting your time and you're not progressing anywhere. So because of that, your confidence was even lower. So this is a cycle which is, it's like a doom cycle which just brings you to rock bottom. So
right,
the biggest challenge is how to break this cycle and how to start thinking positively, how to start thinking optimistically, and how to focus on your goals and actions. So it was two things. One is the cleanup of not overthinking, not thinking negative, thinking optimistically and positively, maintaining focus, and having concrete set of goals and actions, and how am I going to achieve these goals and actions. So once I was able to break the loop and the cycle, and once I was able to set up clear cut goals and objectives, after that I was able to really get the drive in me and I was able to start taking action and I was able to start putting in a lot more hours and a lot more focus and effort. So that is how life coaching has impacted me and changed me. It was mainly about breaking the cycle and pushing me towards my goals and objectives.
okay, okay, wonderful, Rishi. So basically, the limiting belief that you had was that I've studied in finance, I've done studies in some other world, and I wish to delve into some other technology or some other space. So you were probably caught in that nature of karu ya na karu, jaun ya na jaun. So ifs and buts were there, and there is where coaching helped you. Am I right?
Yes, it more than Karu and Nakuru, like I had already taken the decision that I want to do this, but then taking a decision and planning something is a very small
It's
part
different.
of doing something,
Right,
right? The real
right,
challenge is in the execution and taking the action. It's
correct.
easy to set goals and plan something for the future, but it's difficult to get out of your comfort zone and take the action and actually reach your goals and objectives. So that is where life coaching has impacted me. It was more about the taking the action and in the execution part of it.
Fantastic. Fantastic, Rishi. Lovely. So now coming to the third question. So from overcoming to taking action, as you mentioned, Rishi. So you mentioned about struggling with overthinking. So what changed inside you that helped you move from constant thinking to actually taking action? Like you mentioned, Rishi, के सोचना एक चीज होती है. You think about something, but taking action is, it really takes that effort. So how did you pass that bridge? Can you help us with that?
Yes, yes. So in one of our lessons, or rather one of the sessions,
Hmm.
one very big lesson that was taught was that you need to have the right story. So, for example,
Hmm.
let's say you're having some negative thought. For example, for me, the negative thought that was that I was educated in finance until now. I never had any technical or science or math related education for a very long time. So because of
Okay.
that, I'm in a disadvantage and I may not be able to uh, learn this. I may not be, it may be a waste of my time. I'm not sure
Mm-hmm.
whether I should be doing this or not. So that was the story that I was continuously feeding to myself before life coaching started. Then once the life coaching started, and then in one of the sessions, I don't remember exactly which session, but in one of the sessions, the basic lesson was that any thought that you have, you need to craft your story the right way. So
Oh,
after that
okay.
session, I started to change the story.
Uh-huh.
I started looking at a lot of other people who were of similar nature to me, where they were also of a different background, but then they were able to self study and do great things. And there are a lot of people, including a lot of billionaires, also billionaires and millionaires who have self studied and gone into areas of their interest and started businesses over there. So I started looking at their lessons, and then I started feeding myself the story that if they are able to do it with hard work and effort, then I'm sure that even I'll be able to do it. So the fact that I come from a different background is not necessarily a limiting belief for me. So I started convincing myself about that story, and
Mm.
that was how I was able to get away from a lot of the negativity and overthinking. And apart from that, other things such as uh, some of the techniques that were taught included breathing exercises, pranayama every day, listening to binaural beats every day. So these were helpful in terms of overthinking and negativity. And second thing was affirmations. So continuously saying affirmations also subconsciously affects your impacts your mind, and you're able to move from the cycle of negativity and overthinking to positivity and being optimistic about the future. So it's a bunch of things that have really come to the play, but these are some of the major things that comes to the top of my mind right now.
Fantastic, Rishi. I totally agree that affirmations, pranayama, then yoga, whatever techniques that you spoke about, they have wonderful results with the consistent efforts that one puts in, in these activities. So good to know that it has benefited you too, because it has benefited me too. So lovely, Rishi. Good to hear that. So the next question for you is, this is about relationship with yourself, Rishi. Okay. So how was your relationship with yourself? Okay. How has it changed after the coaching, especially in the terms of confidence, self-worth, and decision making? What was it that, you were probably, you had an impression about yourself that changed after the coaching?
Nice. So in one of the sessions, I think this was the very first session, I was introduced to this concept called the inner child. So the analogy there was that imagine you have a child and you're continuously saying negative things to him, saying you're a failure, you're good for nothing, you won't be able
Mm,
to achieve anything, you won't be able to pass your exams.
mm,
Definitely that child won't be happy, won't be confident, and won't be able to progress well, right? So
mm,
similarly, inside us also we have this concept of inner child, which is
mm.
basically ourselves and our soul, maybe you can say. And
Yeah.
if you're going to continuously do the same thing to your inner child, then even
Mm,
your inner child is going to continuously keep suffering and continuously going to keep beaten up. So that
mm,
concept really uh, struck my mind, saying that, yeah, I'm just beating my own inner child and I'm doing all this
mm,
to my inner child, and this is the worst thing that I can probably do to my self. Like,
mm.
because think about it, like, would you ever do something like this to your own child or your own parent, for example? Nobody would ever think of doing something like this. So
Right.
then why is it acceptable and okay to do this to your own inner child? So that
Yeah.
was a concept that really struck me. And then I
Mhm.
thought that uh, my thought process and my decision was that, okay, from now on, I'm gonna stop doing this. I'm going
Mm.
to treat my own inner child with a lot more self love, like uh, similar to how I would treat my other family members. And
Yeah.
so then I started replacing all of these overthinking, negativity, anxiety, and other things with
Mm.
positivity, repeating
Mm.
my affirmations, making myself feel more. confident, making myself feel more optimistic, and actually taking action. And once I was able to do this, it went from a cycle of me beating my inner child and my inner child suffering to me helping and supporting my inner child and my inner child also feeling much happy and much more content. So that is the analogy that came to my mind. So yes, that is how my relationship with myself and my inner child also changed.
Wonderful, Rishi. Wonderful. I'm getting goosebumps. Seriously. So this is what we call as radical transformation. This is what we call as healing. And you have healed yourself in a manner where now your brain has opened up channels to absorb the new dreams, the new world that you wish to pursue. So lovely to hear that, Rishi. Now, let me go to the next question. So, this is about clarity and purpose. We all know that having purpose in life is a foremost thing. Like we have roti, kapda, makan. The fourth thing which should be there is purpose. So, why is roti, kapda, makan there? Because there is some purpose. So, delving into purpose and having clarity about your purpose is foremost important. So, Rishi, the question for you is, before coaching, your path felt unclear. So today, how do you see your future differently? And what excites you the most about it?
Yes. So before coaching, also I had some clarity about my career and what I really want to do and what my purpose was, which is why I had taken the decision to quit my job and come and do self-study. But
Mm-hmm.
the area where life coaching really impacted was uh, we really got very deep into goals and objective setting. And
Uh-huh.
one of the best thing was until now, when a lot of people think about goals and objective setting, they think that it is only to do with your career, like just everything, like nobody cares, and why to even have some goals and even think about it. But
Yeah.
when life coaching started, one of the most important concept that I was introduced was that you need to have goals and objectives not just in a career, but in six
Mm-hmm.
distinct areas of your life. That includes your career, your finance, uh, your goals and objectives relating to your family, your social life and social circle, some spiritual goals and objectives, then also some personal goals and objectives apart from your career.
Mm-hmm.
So two things really impacted me. One was thinking and setting goals and objectives in these other five areas, I think was very important because you will only be happy when holistically you progress in all areas of life. We see a lot of people who are very successful in life or have a lot of money but are still depressed or are
Mm-hmm.
definitely sad. So unless
Yeah.
you don't progress in life holistically, you will never be happy. So that was the most important concept. And second most important concept was having short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals. Because just having a very large goal, while
Mm-hmm.
that is important, if you
Mm-hmm.
don't have short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals, you don't have a timeline in which you are pushed to achieve things. So you
Totally.
may continuously keep thinking that, oh, I am progressing towards my goals, I'm achieving my goals, but the
Yeah.
progress may be very slow. But when you are setting a timeline, that is when you are really able to take action and you really have something that is pulling you to take action every day. So I think both of these were very important in terms of my purpose and my goals and objective setting.
Yes, fantastic, Rishi. I can see how clear are you now. And it is so nice to hear about the clarity that you've got through coaching, and the concepts are so clear that the journey that we live, the life that we are leading, it is a holistic life that we lead. So the goals also need to be holistic. And it is like balancing the wheel in a manner where you give justice to all of the parts of the wheel. So fantastic, Rishi. Good to hear that. Now, here is the next question for you. So, So Rishi, can you tell me three topmost things that really, they created that impact on you over the your coaching journey, okay, which has gone into your subconscious mind, which has got registered on your subconscious mind, and taking action has become very easy now. The highlights of your coaching journey, three things, would you name that for me and for the viewers?
Yes. Uh, so one is, and I think the most important thing which I already spoke about previously was changing the story. And I think this is extremely important because for anything that you do in life or for any goal or objective or for any purpose, like there is a story behind it. And if
Yeah.
you're not having the right story, then you won't be motivated, you won't have the purpose,
Mm.
and you won't push yourself towards taking action. So having the right story is important, and to me, that was a very profound change in terms of having the right story and having the right mindset. And once you have the right story and you're continuously saying yourself the right story, then it subconsciously gets registered in your mind, and then in your mind also subconsciously, you are driven towards taking action. You feel more optimistic, and you feel happier overall. But if you're going to have the wrong story, then the exact opposite effect will happen on your subconscious mind. That is number one. Number
Mm.
two was the affirmations. And again, this also has to do with the subconscious mind. Like a lot of people think, and even I used to be very skeptical about affirmations in the beginning, saying that
Uh-huh.
why would you just simply say things to yourself, which may or may not even be true? Like, what is the point of saying this?
Mm.
I don't think this is a useful exercise, etc., etc. But
Mhm.
I think once I started practicing it, also I understood the true value and true importance of affirmation. It is
Mhm.
really about feeding your subconscious mind towards thinking in a certain manner.
Yeah.
So, in whatever manner that you want to think, once you start saying affirmations to yourself relating to that, then uh, then your subconscious mind also moves in the same direction.
Yeah.
And that was very important for me to retain my focus, improve my focus, and again drive me towards action. And the third is the goals and objectives, because I truly believe that if you don't have goals and objectives, then you will never take action for anything in your life. So you need to
True.
have a clear and time-bound goal or objective, and be committed towards achieving that goal or objective, and only then uh, can you and your subconscious mind push you towards taking action. So this whole idea of how to, I think the number one was even how to set up goals and objectives. I think a lot
Mm.
of people are just setting up goals and objectives in the wrong manner, but I was
Mm.
introduced to the SMART framework, which is basically specific, measurable, relevant, achievable, and time bound.
Yeah.
And that was, I think, very important in terms of setting up the right goals and objectives. And
Mhm.
once you know how to set up uh, goals and objectives, and you set up your goals and objectives, that is when subconsciously also you are driven towards taking action and achieving those goals and objectives. So these three things I feel, at least on the top of my mind right now, were
Yeah.
most impactful in terms of me taking action.
Fantastic, Rishi. So nice to hear that from you. Now, there's one question, the last question that I have for you. What is the message that you wish to pass to others? Okay. If someone is feeling exactly like uh, the way you were feeling, like stuck, confused, and doubting themselves, what would you tell them today? What would be the message that you wish to pass the young people like you so that they also further get clarity?
Uh, the only thing is there are a lot of people, if you look at this world, there are a lot of people who have achieved great things from almost nothing. And there are examples everywhere of people not having the right education or the right background, right resources, or having a lot of roadblocks and challenges in life, but still achieving great things. So the biggest thing is that if you really have the uh, will to do things, you can do things. But then if you are going to continuously have self-doubt and keep overthinking and thinking negative, then you will definitely not take action and you won't have the will to do things. And that is where I think having the right story matters. I think it's important to look at all these figures and convince yourselves that if they can do it with much worse conditions, then you can also definitely do it. And having the right story and convincing yourself and telling yourself the right story, I think that is what will move you from self-doubt to confidence and from negative to positive and optimistic thinking. And that is when you can have the will and you can put your head down and start taking action. And I think, yes, so for anybody who is having self-doubt, overthinking, or thinking negative, I think all you need to do is look at all these people who have achieved greatness from nothing, take inspiration from them, and craft the right story for yourself. And once you do that, you can automatically have the confidence and optimism to uh, push yourself towards action.
Fantastic. Amazing, Rishi. That's such a great way of putting the message in a very clear format, in a very clear and heart to heart message. I felt that's what came out of what you shared. Now, before we end, Rishi, okay, in one sentence, how has life management coaching transformed your life? Just one sentence, if you want to just put it, a crux of what you learned during the coaching journey, what would be that sentence?
Uh, I would say life coaching pushed me from self-doubt to confidence, from negativity to positivity, from overthinking to optimism, and has pushed me from just thinking all day long to having the right goals and objectives and finally sitting down and taking action. And ultimately in life, it's about taking action and achieving your goals and objectives and achieving your purpose. And that is why I think it's important for everybody to do life management, even if you are not going through any significant problems. At least uh, it teaches you the right techniques for you to be focused on your goals and action and towards identifying and achieving your purpose.
Totally agree with you, Rishi. And it was such an impactful session, I would say. It is so nice to hear from a bright mind on how the transformation happened in your case. Now, before we conclude, okay, I would like to thank Rishi for sharing your journey so openly and so honestly. So, your story is a powerful reminder that no matter how lost or stuck we may feel, clarity is always possible, growth is always possible, and transformation is always possible. So, what truly stands out is your courage to look within, to challenge your own beliefs, and to take responsibility for your life. That is where the real change begins. To everyone who is listening this podcast today, if you're feeling confused, overwhelmed, or stuck in overthinking, remember this. Your past does not define your future. Your current situation is not your final destination. And your one small step taken today can change everything. So, here is cheers to Rishi and his transformation journey. Signing off, Pradnya from HappyQuest. I wish all the viewers to please like, share, and subscribe and make Rishi viral. So, thank you so much, Rishi, for joining the podcast. Thank you so much.